Hello and welcome to the Black Demon Wilderness Slayer Guide. This guide will consist of two parts. The first part will be the fast and recommended way, which is in the new Wilderness Slayer Cave, and the second half of this video will be the safe way, which is in the Edgeville Dungeon. If you enjoy this kind of video, please drop a like. It encourages me to keep making these videos. I put a lot of time and effort into this, and it only takes a quick second to drop a like. So the Black Demons are a great task for getting keys and Slayer experience. Of course, there will be a higher risk of getting PK'd because of the location, killing in the Wilderness Slayer Cave, but this is a great task nonetheless. So we'll begin with the fast method. The location for the fast method is going to be in the Wilderness Slayer Cave in level 25. The quickest way to get there is using a burning amulet to the Chaos Temple, and then running northeast into the Wilderness Slayer Cave, and then running north into approximately right in the middle of the Slayer Cave. And then you just go up the stairs and you'll find them. Regarding gear that you should wear, let's first address armor. These bad boys are strong, so you want to protect from melee. Even if you have high defense, you don't want to be bringing in all of your best gear, so your best bet is just to protect from melee while using prayer boosting gear such as proselyte or monk's robes. You'll also want to be using your best damage boosting gear, so since you'll be on a Slayer task, you definitely want to bring a Slayer helm, as well as up to 4 good items that you obviously wouldn't want to lose on death because you are in the wilderness and you have a risk of getting PK'd. Regarding which weapon you should use, the Black Demons have no style weakness, so you should just bring your best and fastest weapon. So that may be a whip or a dragon sim, or even a vigorous chain mace charged if you really want to get some crazy experience rates. Although keep in mind this is going to be a larger risk if you were to get PK'd. Moving on to inventory, I really recommend bringing a cannon. It will speed up your task tremendously. Now, you may not be making a ton of money, but you will be getting a lot of Slayer experience, and of course, since you're in the Slayer Cave, you're more likely to be getting those keys, which will offset the price of cannonballs. Next, you also have the option to bring a special weapon. You can use this to speed up your kills, or in the chance that you run into a PKer, you could use something like a DDS to poison them or maybe get a lucky kill, or even something like Dragon Claws if you can afford them. Next, you'll want to bring combat potions. So while I certainly recommend using melee for these, you could be using ranged. So if you're using melee, bring something like a super combat potion, and obviously if you're using ranged, use something like a ranged potion. Next, you'll want a burning amulet. This is just to get us to the Black Demons. Next, you'll want lots of prayer potions, and the number of prayer potions that you bring is going to vary on your gear and your prayer level, so it's hard for me to give you an exact number of prayer potions. I usually bring somewhere between 5 and 10. Next, you'll want to bring a few Saradomin brews and super restores. This is in case you run into PKers. This is great for combo eating. And to go along with that, you also want to bring a lot of good food, so I'd say at least sharks. Sharks are probably a good place to start. Maybe something like monkfish are fine, but again, you want to bring Sarah brews and super restores for combo eating. And lastly, you'll want to bring a looting bag. This is just because they do have some miscellaneous drops that you'll want to pick up. They don't drop a ton of things. You'll see a lot of death runes, chaos runes, and herbs, but you will want to pick them up because there are some pretty decent drops. Next, we'll move on to how to kill them quickly. As I mentioned before, I recommend bringing a cannon, and if you do decide to take that advice, you'll just want to be using a cannon, use protect from melee, and just keep on your prayers. I recommend keeping preserve on as well if you're using something like a super combat potion. And lastly, it's worth mentioning that there is a safe spot in the northwest corner of the center structure there, but it's not really recommended, especially if you're using a cannon, because you'll have to protect from melee anyway, most likely. Next, we'll be moving on to the more safe method of killing Black Demons in the wilderness. So this location is going to be in the Edgeville Dungeon, and in order to get there, there are 2 ways that I recommend. One is easily accessible to everybody, which would be the teleport to Edgeville with the Amulet of Glory, or if you have Ancients unlocked, use the Padawan teleport. That will bring you into the Edgeville Dungeon. Regarding gear that you should wear when killing them with the safe method, the recommended kill strategy is to use ranged. So use your best range gear, and again, only bring a maximum of 4 good items when going into the wilderness. So use something like your best dragon hide and maybe ranger boots, armadillo crossbow, and just a few other more expensive items, but don't go overboard obviously. Next, for your weapon, I just recommend bringing the most expensive ammo that you're willing to use if you're using ranged, and that's because these guys are very strong. They are slightly less strong than the black demons in the Slayer cave, but they are still quite strong, and even at nearly 99 range on this account, it was taking a little bit of time to kill them. So maybe even bring in something as good as a blowpipe if you feel like speeding up your kills, but maybe something like broad bolts are a good option for most people. Next, let's talk about inventory. So the cannon is optional, but if you're going to be opting for a cannon, you should just be watching the first part of this video, because that is the much faster way and better way to utilize your cannon and cannonballs. Next, once again, a special weapon is optional. This is again for distracting PKers or maybe getting a lucky kill if you do get attacked. Next is combat potions. So again, recommended that you use range, so bring a few ranged potions. Next is again to bring some Sarah Brews or Super Restores for PKers. Again, that's for combo eating. Also, you'll want some good food just in case. I think you can get away with not as great food here compared to the wilderness location because it's less likely for you to get teamed. Obviously, it's not a multi-combat zone, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Next, you'll want a looting bag. Other than that, you'll just want a one-click teleport, and this is because if you do see a PKer pop up and you happen to have a lot of things in your inventory and you don't want to die, a one-click teleport is obviously very useful for that. And lastly, you can bring an optional stamina potion dose. This is if you have on the lower side of agility and you just don't want to waste time while you're running there. Now we'll address how to kill the black demons in the Edgeville dungeon. Once again, the cannon will improve your speed greatly, but it is certainly not required. And the only thing worth noting is that ranged is recommended, and that you just safe spot ranged the black demons in this little alcove over here. So that wraps up the guide. Hopefully that has helped you, whether you're going to use the safe method or the fast method. Of course, I prefer the fast method because I don't really care that much about losing a few 100,000 GP if I were to die, but I do like getting my kills done quickly. So that's going to wrap it up. If you like these guides, the best way to show your support is to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And also let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for improvements. I'm always trying to improve my videos, and I always appreciate the feedback. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.